Larry Hoover was born on November 30th, 1950 in Jackson, Mississippi. At the age of 4, his family relocated to Chicago, Illinois, seeking better opportunities. Growing up in a challenging urban environment, Hoover found himself drawn to the streets. By the age of 13, he had dropped out of junior high school and joined the Supreme Gangsters, a local gang. His early criminal activities included petty theft and muggings, setting up the stage for his future organized crime. In 1969, Hoover and David Barksdale, leader of the Black Disciples, called a truce and decided to combine their respective rival gangs, the Supreme Gangsters and the Black Disciples, forming the Black Gangster Disciple Nation. The unification signified increased their power and influence, creating a formidable presence in Chicago's gang landscape. In 1979, following the death of David Barksdale from kidney failure due to injuries sustained in a 1970 gun accident, Hoover assumed leadership of the Black Gangster Disciple Nation. He declared himself the chairman, and under his rule, the BGDN took control of the majority of the Chicago drug trade, particularly on the South Side. Hoover's criminal empire flourished, making him a significant figure in the Chicago underworld. In 1973, he was convicted of murder for ordering the killing of William Young, a neighborhood drug dealer. Sentenced to 150 to 200 years in prison, Hoover continued to run the gang's illicit drug trade from behind bars, extending his operation from Chicago West Side to various parts of the United States, including Indianapolis, Kansas City, Minneapolis, Detroit, Milwaukee, Birmingham, Alabama, Cincinnati, Memphis, and his birthplace, Jackson. While incarcerated in 1978, Hoover formed the Folk Nation, an alliance that included various gangs aligned with his interests in the BGDN. The coalition included the Lady, Satan, Maniac Latin, Spanish Gangster Disciples, Ambrose, the Two Boys, Two Sixers, Simon City Royals, Northside Insane Popes, La Raza Nation, Spanish Cobras, Imperial Gangsters, Harrison Gents, and the Latin Eagles. The Folk Nation maintained its influence within both prison and on the streets, expanding its reach beyond Chicago. The Folk Nation, including the Black Gangster Disciple Nation, became embroiled in a rivalry with the People Nation, which included gangs such as the Almighty Black Peachstone Nation, Almighty Vice Lord Nation, Latin Kings, Mickey Cobras, Southside Almighty Insane Popes, Almighty Saints, and the Four Corner Hustlers. This rivalry often led to confrontations and turf wars. In 1989, leadership problems within the Black Gangster Disciples surfaced as Hoover focused shift towards the Gangster Disciples, causing a split within the BGDN. This division led to the formation of the separate Gangster Disciples and the reincarnated Black Disciples. A notable instance of this split was a drug deal dispute in the Inglewood neighborhood of Chicago's South Side, which escalated into a deadly shooting. By early 1993, Hoover claimed to have renounced his violent criminal past and became an urban political figure in Chicago. He proclaimed that the GD initials now stood for growth and development, signaling a shift towards community improvement and social change. While in prison for murder on August 27, 1995, after a 17-year investigation by the Illinois Department of Correction, the FBI, and the ATF, Hoover was indicted for conspiracy, extortion, money laundering, drug-related offenses, and continued to engage in criminal enterprise. A lengthy federal investigation using wiretaps led to Hoover's arrest. Prosecutors alleged that his gang had 30,000 soldiers in 35 states and made $100 million in a year. He was arrested at the Dixon Correctional Center by federal agents and moved to the Metropolitan Correctional Center in downtown Chicago to stand trial. In 1997, Hoover was found guilty on all charges. He was sentenced to 3 additional life terms in federal prison. Hoover is currently serving his sentence at the ADX Florence in Fremont County, Colorado. As of July 2022, Hoover stated that he no longer affiliates with the Gangster Disciples and wishes to distance himself from his criminal activities. He asserted that he is no longer the Larry Hoover people sometimes talk about, or who he is written about in the papers, or the crime figure described by the government. Larry Hoover's life is a complex tale of crime, power, and attempts at redemption. As the founder of the Black Gangster Disciple Nation, his impact on the Chicago street gang culture is undeniable. Hoover's ability to maintain control and influence from within the prison system highlights his strategic acumen and the challenges law enforcement face in curbing organized crime. Despite his criminal past, Hoover's later years saw him advocating for peace and community development, leaving a mixed legacy. His story served as a cautionary tale about the allure of power and the consequences of life entrenched in crime, while also highlighting the potential for change and redemption even for those with the most notorious reputations.